Okay, so this axis of symmetry is the middle line, and that's one of the things you're going to have to find when you are graphing a parabola. If you have a highlighter, go ahead and highlight or underline where it says that the y-intercept is the c value. So where it crosses through the y-axis is this number. So this number is your y-intercept. This axis of symmetry is the middle line. It's going to go in the middle of our table. It's okay. It's going to go in our middle of our table. All right, any questions so far? All right, so the other thing to keep in mind is that we have two different types of graphs. We can have a smile. Whenever A is positive, it looks like a smile. That's what the graph looks like. And it has a minimum, which is your lowest point. And that point is right here. Okay. Whenever you have a minimum, your range is going to be y is greater than or equal to, and it's going to be some number. And that just depends on where your vertex is. Okay, if it's negative, what's the opposite of a smile? It's in the front of the room by the computer. Opposite of a frown would be, a smile, sorry, would be a frown. And it's going to look like this. And that's when A is negative. And instead of it being the lowest point on the graph, it's the highest point. Okay, so it's the highest point. And then the only thing we also have to keep in mind is that whenever we do our range, the range is going to be opposite. It's going to be y is, and now we're going to flip that inequality, less than or equal to a number. So we're only going to graph one question today, just one. Tomorrow we'll graph a couple more, but I just kind of want us to kind of get started practicing graphing, going through each piece. Also, as a reminder, I do record the class, so if you're absent or if you want to re-listen to it, it'll be posted, and I'll show you tomorrow where to find those recordings on Canvas. I also post the notes each day. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. Let's go to our next page and graph one. Let's go to page 3 and start graphing one. So the first thing we're going to do is identify A, B, and C. A is the number in front of X. So A is 1, B is -4, and C is 3. To find the axis of symmetry, which again is the middle line, it would be X equals, and it's the opposite of B. So do you see how this is a -4? We got to flip the sign. Okay, so it's going to be, let me go back here. Actually, go back to that first page and write flip the sign. You have to flip the sign. That's really, really important. Whenever you're finding the axis of symmetry, Whatever B is, we have to flip it. So if it's negative, we're going to flip it to a positive. If it's positive, we're going to flip it to a negative, okay? So now let's go back to our example. So because B is negative, it flips to a positive 4. And that's divided by 2 times A. And what is A? What did we say A was? 1. So go ahead, pick up your calculator and figure out what that would be. 4 divided by 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So 4 divided by 2 is what? 2. So where it says axis of symmetry, can you write x equals 2? Now to find your vertex is going to be an ordered pair. The first number is the axis of symmetry. So in this example, it's a 2. So let's find the y value. So y equals, and it's x squared minus 4 times x plus 3. And then you're going to substitute in that 2. So go ahead and pick up your calculator. And I want you to type this right into your calculator. And then that's the number that goes right here. And when you're typing it in, you're going to type it in with the parentheses, put the square on the outside, minus 4 parentheses 2 plus 3. And what did you all get? -1. Anyone else over here? Anybody over here get -1? Did you get -1? -1? -1? Okay. So that's your vertex. Your vertex is at 2, -1. Now, do you think this graph is going to be a smile or a frown? This right here, this number tells you if it's a smile or a frown. So is this one positive or negative? Positive. So if we go back here, we said that anytime A is positive, the graph is a smile and it has a minimum. Smiles have a minimum, frowns have a maximum. So you're going to circle minimum. This is a minimum because it's a smile. Smiles have a minimum. A is positive, so that's how we know it's a smile. So I want you to go ahead and put that ordered pair in the middle of your table. So this is your vertex. And we're going to put 2, -1 right there. All right, so now we're going to fill in this side. So look up here, everybody. So that's 2. Everybody look back here at me. So this is 2. So you're going to go back. So that would be -1, 0. So let's go ahead and fill that in. Put a -1 and a 0. Now go back to the 2. Go forward. 3, 4. Put a 3 and a 4. That's how you find your numbers. You're going to use your axis of symmetry, and go 2 numbers to the left. I did not mean to put a -1 there. I'm sorry. That should be a positive 1. You're going to go 2 numbers to the left and 2 numbers to the right. And we're just going to we're almost done for today, so thank you so much. We're going to take these 4 numbers and substitute it in just like we did with our vertex. So what I like to do is write it out. So it's x squared minus 4 times x plus 3. I'm just going to write this over and over again. And then I go back and substitute in my numbers. Okay, so we're going to plug in a 0 first. Then you're going to plug in a 1. We already did 2, so we're going to plug in 3, and we're going to plug in 4. So take a few minutes and find those 4 numbers. So use your calculators and go one by one. First, you're going to type this in to get your first Y value. Then you're going to type this row in to get your second Y value. So I'll give you about 3 or 4 minutes to get those other numbers, and then we will be finished graphing. Catherine, Valeria. All right, so I just graphed 2. I graded a couple of them for accuracy, and that's what I'm going to do on your homework also. Everything is collected. Alexandria, just making sure I got it right. Christian. Finish this out. So what did you get for the first one? What was your Y value? 3. Who agrees with Lariah? Diana, what you get for the next one? 0. Jaden, what you get for 3? 0. And for the last one, what you get for 4? 3. Okay, so notice how we have a repeat of numbers. 3 and 3 and 0, 0. Let's go ahead and graph these 5 order pairs. So we're going to grab them, write them over here. Who remembers how to graph an order pair? Raise your hand if you remember how to graph an order pair. Okay. So we're going to graph these 5 order pairs. So our first one, 0, x is 0. So we go up 3. So 1, 2, 3, that would be our first point. And then our next one is at 1, 0. Then it's 2, down 1, 3, and then 4. So you can see the smile. Does everyone see the smile? And when you connect it, it should look like a smile. That would be your graph. It continues to go up on both sides. Your domain is always going to be all real numbers. And going back here, because this is a smile, this is going to be your range. Y is greater than or equal to, and then I'll tell you how to figure out that number. So Y is greater than and equal to, so let's go ahead and write that. And it's always going to be the Y value of your vertex. And what is this number right here? -1. All right, any questions about that first example? We're going to continue working on this, so I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I'm so confused, because we're going to work on it tomorrow also. Now I'm getting ready to pass out homework 1. Homework 1, to get full credit, you have to turn it in by Thursday, August 9th. So I'm getting ready to pass that out now.